It's time to do the Tuesday crossword on February 10th. This one's by Sarah Sinclair and Amy Walker, who are two familiar names for me, so I'm excited to see how this turns out. Let's take a look at this. A pep in one step makes me think this is Vim. It's the only three-letter word I can think of that has a meaning sort of like energy, energetic trait. One who gets special treatment for short. Perhaps since it's a V, this might be vet. I don't know if they really get special treatment. I think this is a bit editorializing if this happens to be the word vet, because I guess you can make the argument that they do or do not get adequate treatment. But I'm gonna overlook that for just for the idea of just for this puzzle. This looks like this is right though. This is IMO for if you ask me. Picture it. Uh, picture it. Is this an emoji? Because I was thinking it was email, but there's no reason that would be picture. But emoji could actually be in a well, it's a picture, so I think that might be right. Reputation or oh maybe not. Is it image perhaps? Oh, it's not. Sorry, it's not vet. I was thinking way too hard about that. This is a VIP. VIP literally gets special treatment, so maybe yeah. Well, I was definitely thinking along the wrong lines with vet there. VIP, and I say that because this was making me think this should actually be image, not emoji. And then a reputation or lover to Swifty. These are examples of one of her eras. So that's an era. Let's look at this. One might involve a drastic haircut and new clothes. So as some kind of makeover. Yeah, that's the word I was thinking of. Makeover. Let's see. Online commerce is e-tail. Then this looks like this might be poker something. Poker fiend, poker whale, poker player. I mean, it could just literally be player, and maybe I'm just overthinking it. Certain casino regular is a poker player. Let's see if this is right. To set down. I would have thought this would have been something like put down or sit down as to set yourself down. I don't know. Um, legal org is American Bar Association, ABA. So let's see what this is. To become less intense is to abate. There are a lot of A, B, blank, blank, blank words, and I think it's quite nice to look at those because those words show up quite a lot. It's hard for me to articulate exactly why. I think it's because words that have a B in the second position are quite rare. B is one of those letters that likes to be at the beginning of words. Um, or just like in other places, maybe the third position. I can think of a lot of words that have B in the third position. But having a B in the second position is kind of awkward because it forces you to have a vowel in the beginning, and there aren't many vowels that, well, there aren't many words um, with vowel B. But of those words, the most common ones are ones that begin with an A. I don't know why. It's just kind of one of those patterns I noticed. But you have A B, you have like abide, you have abash. I think yeah, you have abate. You have did I say abide already? Abets, abuts. Um I'm sure there was something else I was saying like to abash. No, I already said that. What was the other one that was to embarrass someone? Um I mean there's abuse, but I don't think that word would ever show up in New York Times. Um, I don't know. I'm racking my brain for no reason. I should just carry on. But yeah, abate is one of those words that does actually show up quite a lot, surprisingly. So it's good to sort of remember that, I suppose. Let's see what else is there. A song suitable for a slow dance. Perhaps it's a ballad. I was thinking ballet, but ballet is not necessarily it's not a song. It's not even a slow dance. So I think a ballad is right. And yeah, so jazz ballads in particular are ones that are notably slow tempo. So there it is. To a model airplane material, it's balsa wood. Let's see, STE something. Part of a cattle herd is a steer, the male cows. Let's see, American Eagle sub brand. Um, I think it's airy. Right. Okay. I can also confirm that this is right because Airy means like an eagle nest. So of course, American Eagle is would be quite fitting. Let's see, EI. So first Oscar winner to be born from the 21st century for best original song. I think this is talking about Billie Eilish. I'm gonna go with that. Let's see, get something. Or maybe I'll start with this one, 18, because I have most letters here. One of three in the Domino's logo is a pip. Pip is like specifically one of those dots. I mean, actually, I think a lot of people would. This is quite fair now because one of the New York Times games is called Pips, and it's about laying out dominoes. So it's nice. I'm sure people should know that by now. If you don't, now you do. Sorry, not physics. A psychic who examines lifelines and heart lines is a palm reader. Because the lifeline, I think, is the one that runs along your palm. Okay, lost actor. I believe this is Day, like this. Could be wrong, but I've heard of Daniel something A.E. Kim, and I think Daniel Day Kim just kind of rolls off the tongue in a way that I'm familiar with. So I'm gonna go with that. Let's see, M.E. something. Cross paths is to meet. All right. I'm looking at this H.R. This is quite an interesting combination. Let's see if this is right. Um, Margaret Mead's subject. Informally. Possibly, this is like anthro for short for anthropology. I don't know who Margaret Mead is, but I'm going to keep that in mind. Let's take a look. I think I'm right. I think it is anthro because this is Dia de los Muertos, of just Day of the Dead in Spanish. It's a Spanish holiday. Not Spanish, but it's Latin American. So this possibly could be anthro. And what is this? Holiday in? I don't see why that would be a song. Let's take a look at what else there is. To do the splits is to divide, which is kind of a fun one. This makes you think this is about gymnastics, but question mark. In this case, signals it's something more than that. So let's see. Look at this vessel that might hold dye is a dye vat. I mean, there are not many other words that mean vessel, so there it is. Holiday Inn actually could be right. In a sec. One moment. That's what it. Yeah, that's right. Okay, what about this one? Art Deco is a geometric architectural style. Nice. Let's see. So I have a few long words, which are a bit surprising. I'm surprised that there are such long words here. Let's take a look at this. Occasion for some girl talk. Perhaps this is ladies' night. Is that something specific? Ladies' night is a certain thing in like bars, I suppose. Certain businesses will have ladies' nights. Girl talk. I suppose you could have girl talking ladies' nights. All right, let's see. Sound, sometimes written as Z's. It's a snore. Okay, what can I... Oh, this I at the end is quite interesting. Let's take a look at that. 20-ounce Starbucks size. Right, this is a venti. Let's see, this LAV. Let's take a look at that. Pool from a volcanic eruption. Lava lake? That doesn't fit. Lava pit. I'm assuming that's a P. No. Invites for a nightcap. Say. Wait. A nightcap is not actually like a cap that you wear at night. I'm trying to think of what that is. Is it just like a late night meeting of some kind? Let's say it's lava pit. I'm gonna go with that for now. Partner of the CDC and FDA. What else would be involved with drugs? National Institute for NIH perhaps. NIH seems right. I'm gonna go with that. Birkin bag maker. Someone would know that. Someone should know that. Not me though. Emmy nominated Issa is Issa Rae. She she had the show Insecure. She was the star of that, and she was also the president in Barbie. I'm surprised that she has not won an Emmy. I'm surprised that we only know her as Emmy nominated, but certainly she's been nominated for many Emmys by this point. Let's see. Word after mountain or vocal. A range, mountain range and vocal range. Okay, nice. Take a look at this one, 36. Public radios. Perhaps this American Life. I say this because I think like the word "this" actually is surprisingly hard to clue. unless you put it in a longer title of some sort. So in this case, like, titles always have these kind of words like this, these, it's, things like that. What is this? Land of Nod? I think that's what it's called. I think that was the place that Cain was exiled to after he murdered his brother Abel. Let's see. DIS. Prohibit from practicing law is to disbar. Ooh, okay. Well, here's the thing though. I feel like this technically should be frowned upon. ABA stands for American Bar Association, I believe, and you have the word bar here. Prohibit from practicing law. One way that I could see you can get around this problem is you take ABA, not to mean American Bar Association, but you can take it to mean, for instance, like a musical sort of structure. You have a musical form. For instance, you have like an A section followed by B section followed by the A section again. Like an example of that would be Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, which follows the ABA form. So you could perhaps write a clue like that, and I think it would be kind of fair. I don't know. So there is, I guess, a way that you could do that to avoid this sort of what we would call a duplicate, like a dupe. Um, I'll be honest though, I'm not too worried about that myself, but I do keep that in mind when I make my own puzzles. Um, and I suppose this one, I guess you could say this one's on the editors. Like the editors should have caught this um if there was a fix that was this easy. I don't know. Maybe it's not really a fix. I feel like I shouldn't really be. I'm not really in a place to criticize puzzles, to be honest. Like I'm not that good. Um, I'm not. And I'm certainly not the editor. So I'll just carry on. Anyways, Kylo Ren, Star Wars antagonist. Wait, really? I thought that he was the. I thought that he was one of the friendly guys that spoke to Luke. I'm surprised. I mean, this shows that I'm not a Star Wars fan. Otherwise, I would have known this for sure. Did not know this was an antagonist. Really? I thought Kylo Ren was like one of those like uncle people, like one of those mentors. I'm really surprised. Anyways, look at this one. Dasinovich or Ilich of Russian literature. Ivan, perhaps? I mean, it sounds like a Russian name. Ivan's the only one that comes to mind. Let's take a look at this one. Swimmer Torres with 12 Olympic medals. Now this is tough because I don't know what this letter could be. Sarah, Kara, Lara, Tara. I don't know. Let's take a look at it later. First and foremost is above all. Take a look at this one. Catholic University, whose mascot is a lion, aptly. Oh, I see what's going on. So, okay, well, I mean, this one is St. Leo. And I didn't know this was a university, but I can reason why this is right and why this is apt, because lion is the symbol for Leo, which is the horoscope. And it's saint, which pairs nicely with the Catholic University. And all of this sort of makes it a very fitting clue. Like, I guess, it's sort of like sprinkled in. You have all these sort of little facts about this university, and none of them is a red herring. So you don't really have red herrings in puzzles. That's kind of frowned upon. So all of these words can give you information to get closer to the answer, which is sort of a sort of, I guess, an attitude towards puzzles, especially trivia, when you don't necessarily know it. Let's see. Section of a journey. It's a leg. It's a leg of a journey. That's what they say. Snoopy or Scooby-Doo is a dog. Formerly named, this one we've seen before, Nay, which comes before a maiden name. Little Nas X. Right, okay. I could use some help here. Okay, so this is thing I talked about yesterday, but when you have the word I, you want to be looking for, can you put the word me in the answer? In this case, I think this is lend me a hand, which is nice. Lend me a hand. Poker player palm readers might want people to lend them hands, so that's nice. Let's see what this one is. Birkin bag maker is Hermes. Right, okay. What about, can I figure out what this is? Toy Story 2, character 2 says pack an extra pair of shoes in your angry eyes just in case. Oh, Mr. Potato Head. Oh, Mrs. Potato Head. Right, okay, Mrs. Potato Head. And you might lend Mrs. Potato Head a hand literally like a literal hand. Uh, let's see, something to whistle. You might whistle a tune. So something I appreciate about this is that when you have these things like hands, um, all of these are in some sense different senses of the word hand. You have a hand as a toy, like a human hand. You have a hand in poker, and then hand in this case, which is figuratively seen as help. So it's really nice to have that kind of those references like that. Um, let's see. What else do we have? Device measuring audience approval. I think it's the clapometer, and in this case, hand means applause, which is also very fitting. Let's take a look at this. Regularly hits the gym. Gets muscled up, or I don't know. Invites for a nightcap. This might be has up, like invites to one's room. Goddess of daybreak is Eos. I can't remember if it's Greek or Roman, pagan even. I don't know. Only only U.S. state with a monosyllabic name. Oh, sorry, this is not Lent. This is give me a hand. Give me a hand, and this is Maine. That's true. It's the only monosyllabic name that there is. Okay, Phantom of the Opera instrument is organ. I imagine. One terminal on a battery is an anode. You'll remember that for later. It will certainly come up. News website with a Latin name is Vox. And what is this? Email suffix once required to use Facebook is edu. And this is a nexus, right? Okay, that's certainly a word. I believe that. You pick two bakery chain is Panera. And I know this you pick two also because I think there was an SNL sketch with Bowen and Simu Liu, and it was sort of like comparing these different like first Asian to do blah blah blah, but the first Asian to do blah 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 thing was like getting progressively more and more specific, and in some way it was like poking fun at how people like to celebrate these firsts done by like Asian people, but typically these things like in some sense like are I guess in some way made trivial by the sort of incessant nature of trying to be the first to do something or trying to name someone as the first to do something. Anyways, the way that this showed up was there was Simu at one point said that he got an award for being the first to you pick two in Panera, and then there was sort of a sequence of him getting you pick two award in Panera for doing that. Anyways, like all this, like just to get this one word. I don't think you needed to know all of that. You might have been to Panera yourself. I haven't been to Panera myself. But you know what? Even if you didn't know that, I think you could have figured it out from other things as well. John something. CP in the middle of this. Blank CP blank blank blank. I think this might be Mick something. Because I don't know what... This could be a vowel, but I don't really believe it. Don't tell mama, perhaps? Is that a thing? Don't tell mama? I'm just guessing at this point. State that's a subject. Alaska, I imagine. Way of doing things is a manner. It might be a manner of doing things. Then what is this? QVC alternative is HSN, I think. I don't know what it stands for. To squeak out. You would see eke out. This is quite common. Let's see what else there is. Body part that might have a ring or a stud is an ear. You have a getting piercings like that. California wine valleys, Napa. What is this? Viral dance of the 2010s is the nene. Let's see. Regularly hits the shape. Gets in shape. Nice. Okay. Money, money, money execs. Well, this should be a CFO for financial officers. Flim flam. Leader of the chipmunks in the novelty group is Alvin. Nice. And I get a yellow star today. That means that I actually solved this puzzle on time today, which is a first in a few days. Well, on time as in like actually solved it on the day that it came out. So there it is. Something interesting about flam is that flim flam, yes, that is a phrase. Flam is also, I think, a sort of a rudimentary technique for drummers, especially with snares. You have a flim flam is sort of like a blah kind of sound. Like it's like two very quick, slightly out of sync hits, and it has that sort of it's sort of almost like a longer sounding note because it's sort of like a blah kind of sound. So that would also be a flam. But flim flam works I just sort of say that out of interest. Flam could also mean that. Alvin, Nene, did anything that I didn't see. Dara, okay, Dara was the swimmer Taurus. I feel like I should commit these things to memory because certainly this will come up in a situation when I'm not familiar with the words crossing it. So it would be nice to know that thing. So I've always, you know what? I've always tried to come up with a theme like this, and it's never really worked out the way I wanted it to. It's actually quite difficult to have a single word that can be interpreted in so many different, while also interesting ways. So give me a hand. Um, where hand itself in this case means something quite different than all of these things. So I don't know. I just find it quite, I find it quite impressive when you can come up with a theme like this, and I'm certainly impressed by this. Yeah, I think all of these are quite self-explanatory. It's also nice when you have a theme that's not so difficult to explain to someone like that. Um, Also, something else I think I should point out: these really long answers crossing these are very difficult in practice to have filled out, especially if you look at all these themers. Um, you have these long ones that are crossing three of these themers. And the thing is, oh, I actually have another one here that also crosses three. Now, the thing with these um, constraints is that having a word crossing one word like this is quite free, and having two already restricts your options quite a lot, like a surprising amount of constraint already when you have two. But getting three like that and right next to another long answer like that is very difficult. Certainly, it required a lot of constructing like sort of workarounds like this, just to get something that even like fills at all properly. That is already quite difficult. Um, but of course, Sarah Sinclair, Amy Walker, I've seen these names many times before. These are certainly very um, eligible and accomplished constructors. Like I'm sure that they would certainly have made sure that this was done uh, well, and they certainly did. I'm very impressed with this kind of thing. I imagine that this kind of thing doesn't impress like normal solvers that just want to like solve a just like solve a puzzle normally. But I mean, it impresses me. So there it is. Yeah. Um, Fun words also. There were, I think the words in this case were very well chosen. All of these words, like, yeah, I can't even find like the weakest word here. These are all words that I would be very happy with, like, um, seeing. Nothing too obscure either. Yeah, I'm just like 10 out of 10. Like this puzzle. That's it.